You know something, man? Earlier today, because the past couple of days, honestly, um, and today in particular, there's been a lot on my mind due to a decision that I'm gonna have to ultimately make sometime soon in the future, and it has nothing to do with YouTube. Well, somewhat. And it's been leaving me, thinking about it a lot, and it's just been overall like I'm very very conflicted, and it's been leaving me like damn, what should I do and whatnot. And earlier today, whenever I left my class this morning, I got in the car and I have my regular playlist of songs that always comes on, and the moment that I saw, I should say the moment that I heard Hands Up, opening 16, start playing, I immediately thought back about 4 years ago of the guy that was in the bathroom recording videos because everybody in the house was so loud. I wasn't allowed to do it in my room because it was so loud over here, and so I always recorded videos in the bathroom. I remember doing that for both the manga and for the episodes. And I remember whenever Punk Hazard was coming out in the anime, it was just whenever I first started doing videos on the channel, and I remember doing those videos, and I'd be like in the middle of the video, I'd be like, oh, I can't wait to talk about this in the video. I can't wait to talk about this in the video. That was like my happiest time, man. And then you go back vice versa. So whenever I was doing the manga reviews at that point in time, in the beginning of Dressrosa, and dude, when I tell you that I would be in the middle of class, my professor would be like going in on whatever the case may be, and I would just be sitting there rereading the chapter constantly, wanting to talk about this, wanting to talk about this, wanting to talk about this, can't wait to go home and talk about this. And it made me realize that for the past 4 years, and I'm honestly longer than that, because I've been with the series itself for so long, and it really, but especially here on YouTube, it made me realize that no matter what happens in anything, no matter what the situation is, no matter what is going on, I will always have this to put a smile on my face, man. And it's something that is truly special because I have a lot of series that I get into. I have a lot of series that I've watched, that I've read, and there's a lot of things that I've been into for so many years. For example, professional wrestling. I've been a wrestling fan for a very very long time, and WWE specifically. I got out of it around 2009 2010 and got back into it like in the summer of Punk. But that's because I said screw this, man. I'm tired of this crap. So and then I got back in 2011. That's wrestling, man. That's like my love right there, right? And of course I was still watching like Ring of Honor and whatnot, but still at WWE I said hell no, screw that junk. And I came back 2011 to start watching that. Even Call of Duty. Call of Duty is something that I love with all of my soul. At least I used to. I mean, I still always have a special place in my heart. But man, I'm telling you, dude, when I used to come home from school and stay up all night playing, go stay up until like 2 o'clock, wake up at 5 o'clock, do the same thing every single day because I wanted to be the best. Call of Duty was my life, man. From Call of Duty 4 all the way to Modern Warfare 3, those years right there were just me straight up, dude, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty. You know, and with anything else that I've ever outgrown when it came to my passion for the sport of basketball, and a couple of other things, man. There's one thing, not even Bleach, because Bleach and One Piece I've been into for around the same amount of time span for a really, really long time. And even Bleach, after the anime stopped airing on Adult Swim, I didn't love it as much as I once did, because it stopped airing on Adult Swim and I stopped getting my dosage of the anime, which was why I love that series so much. But there's one thing that's always stayed constant, man, and in all these years, and it's definitely been prevalent, especially here on YouTube, and that is that no matter what happens, my love for this series somehow continues to grow every single day, and I can't even begin to comprehend as to how that's even possible, because I've reread and rewatched it so many times. You would think after rereading and rewatching something so many times, you would be bored of it, you would be tired of it. that's nowhere near the case, man. I'm sitting here making the longest videos that I've ever had about this same series, and I'll tell you what, man. If I did not like if I didn't have the certain work schedule that I do, that I have to prioritize which videos I have to do over the other, son, the One Piece content would be out of this world, and it's something that I want to do. Like, I would love to do One Piece content all day, every day, right? But when it comes to the series, I just find myself that no matter what it is, no matter what I'm going through, I mean, I can't even contain the smile I have right now just thinking about it, man. Because no matter what is going on, I can always count on the 10, 15, 20, 25 Recon Speeds hours, hours on end of me talking about the series is when I am pretty much at my most happiest, man. It's something I love so much, and I just can't help it. I can't. It's something that's out of this world. I can't even explain it. But whenever I talk about this series, like, I remember my mom even told me this one time that, like, the time whenever like I glow the brightest, whenever, like, I'm like, I obviously am like you know, even and whenever we're in regular conversations, whenever they bring up the subject of One Piece, and that's whenever I'm like, whoa, somebody talking about One Piece. And I've been told to my friends as well, and I don't know, man. It's just something special about this series, and what's crazy about it is that, as you know, rewatching the series with Uzumaki Khan, it's with even then it's doing something that I never thought would be possible, with Khan doing these reactions and being able to re-experience some of this stuff once more. But with Khan, I feel like he's making me love the series even more than I already do. And it's like, it's already at the ceiling, man. It's breaking through it at this point, and I'm like, dog, man, it's like, no matter what it is, even here in the situation right now that I'm currently in, back in 2016, the beginning half of 2016, which was horrible for me, man. Every week I'd be in here on Thursday and sometimes on Saturday talking about the awesome sauce that is the greatness of One Piece, man. And it's truly something special. It's truly something special, and I just wanted to get that off my chest because I you know, with what I've been going through the past couple of days, going through, and I've been rewatching a lot of the episodes, and even when simply just one of those, just one of its songs, anything that has to do anything with this, just starts playing in the car, or I even hear somebody talking about it, and I get that smile that I cannot hold. I can't hold it. I can't hold smiling and laughing when I think about the series, man. It's something I can't control, and I just have to thank Oda so much, man, for so many things. And but yeah, definitely keep me in your thoughts and prayers, guys, for you guys who are out there, man. It's gonna be a tough couple of weeks coming in right now, but I always find that whenever I talk about this series, man, there's just no feeling like it, man. And you wanna know why there's no feeling like it, man? Do you really want to know why there's no feeling like talking about the best-selling manga in history? The third best-selling comic of all time. Why there's nothing like talking about the one, the only, One Piece, man. Listen to me, bro. There's nothing like it, man. I can't even. The closest thing that I can compare it to is whenever I talk about other series that I really love, and even then, like, closest one that can reach is Gintama, man. Honestly, the closest one that can reach it is Gintama in terms of how I feel, yo. But the thing here is that when you look on it, man, the only feeling I can compare it to is whenever you have a successful writing day, because that is the greatest feeling you can ever have. But man, yo, when you talk about the greatness of the one and the only, the One Piece Awesome Sauce, there's just something about it, man. It gives you strength. It gives you powers, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is, but you just can't stop smiling whenever you think about the greatness of One Piece, man. But getting off that, I had to shoot on that. I had to get that off my chest, man. And if you made it this far, I'm sitting me and hearing you rambling and getting my thoughts out there. I really do appreciate it. But for right now, it's time to get into the Recon's piece. Now, before we get into that, I would like for you guys to let me know down in the comments if you how have you been enjoying the Recon Speak segment thus far? You know, is this something that you look forward to? Is it something that you like? Something that you dislike? You know, are there any criticism that you have towards it? Would you like me to add music or any particular segments within the Recon Speech? Just let me know, man, because I'm always looking to improve. This is the first ever podcast type of thing I've ever done before, and I don't want to stop anytime soon, because this is something I've always wanted to do, just have a segment where I just talk about the greatness and the awesome sauce of the One Piece greatness. So just let me know anything other than any thoughts you have on the segment, you know. And then if you like it, comments like your best girl. Like for me, I'd put like Nami's booty or something, like hashtag best girl booty, or put that in the comments if you like, if you're digging the Recon Speech segment thus far up here until episode 5. Episode 5, man. Episode 5 is legendary, man. If you guys are Star Wars fans, that's the best episode, man. That's the Empire Strikes Back, ladies and gentlemen. That's the GOAT, right? So we gotta make episode 5 special. We just have to make episode 5 special. So if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, at Yoshida Shoyo, and you can always discuss One Piece with me on there. I try to stay active on the One Piece Amino, and I always try to post or at least read some posts on there. And there's a lot of awesome things going on One Piece Amino. So if you want to follow me on there, it's just King Recon. I have a Finn Balor picture, so you can follow me on One Piece Amino, and those are pretty much the main places where I am in terms of social media. Is mainly Twitter. Twitter is just fun, and it's easy to access. The notifications, I actually receive them, whereas in other things, and not even in text, I don't even think text notifications are as good as Twitter notifications. Those things pop up immediately. Crazy. It's like Marco the Phoenix is the flipping Twitter bird itself, resurrecting at all times. So yeah, man, getting into the actual segment in of itself, guys, this week we're going to be talking about the awesome sauce that is, what is your favorite post-Timeskip arc? Now, I held this poll the past week. I started, I believe it was on Friday, and we're here today. There was a lot of votes, and I have to thank you all so much for that. I think that is the most votes I've ever gotten in any poll I've ever done before, period. And I've been doing polls since I first started doing YouTube, and I think that was the most votes I've ever gotten. Ever. Like, I think, like, whenever I did the video, I was like, okay, I was only expecting around 30 comments. It went like 100 comments, man. I was like, whoa! So that was pretty awesome sauce. I was like, dog, 100 comments. This is awesome sauce. So thank you all so much for commenting, man. I really do appreciate that. You know, anytime that I've received that many comments, I'm like, holy flagnards, what do I do? This is amazing. This is too much, but it's amazing, and it's pretty cool. So I really do appreciate that. Anytime I see like a lot of likes, even a lot of dislikes, who cares? Like a lot of likes, a lot of dislikes, or a lot of comments, it just shows me that at least some like at least you decided to press a button, that you cared, whatever, and that's just always been cool to me whenever it comes to showing those type of ratings on the videos, whatever. But it is what it is. And even if you don't do it and you just watch the videos, shout out to you as well, man, because you're flipping awesome sauce. I mean, even me, whenever I watch a lot of videos, like my favorite YouTuber is Uzumaki Khan, and even I sometimes forget to like or comment. I barely comment on the Khan's videos. I just watch them, you know. So if you're out there and you're supporting low key like I do for almost everyone, I mean, literally, like my top 2 favorite YouTubers that I watch, I almost never comment, and I always try to leave a like. So if you're one of those low-key people, shout out to you, man. But if you're one of the people that comments, shout out to you as well, because, you know, you could be low-key like me, man, or you could be high-key like some of you guys, some of you awesome sauce guys out there. But regardless, going into the actual poll results. Now, I received a very, very good comment that I wanted to read, because I didn't really go through how I was going to be doing the poll, as in, like, how I was going to be counting up with the results. So I want to talk about that right now. So Aaron Coe stated that, you know, I hope you do more of these poll things, which I will most definitely be doing. I already have the next poll in mind for the I don't know if it's going to be for next week's or for the following weeks. I'm planning on doing next week, holding the poll for 1 week straight, doing the Recon's piece for the next week, where we'll just be talking about regular chapter stuff, and the week after we'll do that poll. So it could be like a 1 week and 1 week off type of thing. So we'll have more stuff to talk about when the next Recon's piece about the chapter discussions comes and happens. So yeah, he says, I hope you do more of these poll things. I love listening to others' choices and reasoning. I agree. I definitely do agree with that. That's why I love YouTube, because YouTube has so many people with so many different voices and so many different minds talking about the same subject. You can definitely see a lot of different perspectives and where they're coming from and why they chose this and whatnot. So I definitely agree with you on that. I think it's a statistics type of thing. I've always been a guy, even though I hate math, I've always loved statistics, man. Always, ever since I was a little kid. Like I remember always when I was younger, obsessed with Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa, Jordan, Kobe, and like The Rock, Stone Cold. When it comes to their statistics, their win-loss ratio, you know, why are they the best? Why are they so good? And I was always like, I was obsessed with their numbers. And all times, I always wanted to know what made them so great. And it always led me towards their statistics. You know, that's still a hard word for me to say to this day, but their statistics. And that's always been something that I've always liked. Is even like with graphs, charts, bars, like all that stuff. I've always liked that stuff. Also, if you're doing another one, do you mind stating the voting format? Absolutely. So, I definitely do agree that it is a messy format, and I really do appreciate you leaving that comment, because I didn't even think about that. So the way that I'm doing it, especially this week, and it will be like this until I continue on, I'll definitely try to say what the format and how I'm going to be telling the results is going to be definitely from here on out. So I do appreciate that, but let me go ahead and say what the format, or what. How did I tally them up? So starting that off, the way that I did it was, let's just say if you left down 6 votes. So like, for example, you left, your number 1 was Zoe, your number 2 is Return to Sabaody, which you're a good man for that. Number 3 is Dressrosa, your number 4 is Fishman Island, your number 5 is Punk Hazard, and you said not sure how to rate Whole Cake Island yet. Well, let's wait how it ends first, and I respect that. So you rated 5 arcs. So what I did is that your number 1, I gave it 5 points, and I went down in order. You know, number 2 got 4, your number 3 got flipping 3, your number 4 got 2, and your number 5 got 1. And if you put 6, then both 5 and 6 received 1 point, and everything else would receive the same amount of points, because I wasn't going to leave it to be unfair. I just decided to give everybody 1 point, because it was going to be pretty much the same results anyway, so... yeah, that's basically how I did it. So, like, if you voted for, let's just say, number 1, like in my case, my favorite post-time skip arc is Return to Sabaody. So, my Return to Sabaody for me would be 5, and then you know, your number 2 would have 4, your number 3 would have flipping 3, your number 4 would have 2, your number 5 would have 1 point for each thing. So, what I did was I went through every single comment on that video, and I kept looking. Like, for example, a lot of you had your number 1 as whether it be Zoe, Whole Cake Island, Fishman Island, Dressrosa, and I would do that first. I'd be like, okay, add this to this point, 5 points, and then the next one I'll add this to this, and add this to this, and that's how I did it for every single comment. I kept tallying up from 5 to 1 based on where you had them ranked, and a lot of you actually only voted for 1 arc. So I was like, okay, then then if you only voted for 1 arc, then that arc automatically gets the full 5 points. If you only voted for 2 arcs, one of them gets 5, the other one gets 4. It's just the way I did it. So definitely, guys, this is the way that I did it, and I'm going to clarify more the next time I do a poll onto how I'm going to tally up the results. So let's go ahead and go over the results right quick, man. Now. Dude, man, number 1 won by a landslide. I mean, it wasn't even close. But number 2 and number 3 and number 5 and number 6 were pretty dang close for a long time. But then, as I kept reading more results, I continued to see... My bad about that, I had to be at the door. But, yeah, going on to hear about tallying the results, guys, look... Number 6 and number 5 were really close until the very end, and number 2 and number 3 were really close until the very end. So, coming in first at number 6. Now, this one I saw coming, but I was really shocked as to how many people put it down at number 6, man. And it's amazing. Like, I'm like, oh, I don't even know. Well, but then again, it's kind of hard to say that because you have 6 really good arcs right here, so one of them had to have been down at the bottom. But it shocked me that it was this one, man. Kind of, because I mean, I've already seen a lot of people disliking it for years, but still, like, I couldn't believe it. So, coming in number 6 with 50 points is going to be the Fishman Island arc. Now, I want to read a comment by my main man, SMX Wing, where he talks about why Fishman Island is his favorite post-Timeskip arc. And he says right here, it had great build-up, an excellent backstory, that one of my favorites, an absolutely phenomenal backstory. I love Fishman Island. And, I remember in the Ranking the Arc stream, I remember that me and Mac went at it, because I said Return to Sabaody was better than Fishman Island. And he was trying to defend his case because Fishman Island was the third favorite arc in the whole series. And we were going at it for a little bit, but it's something to where I really do understand why and how you would have this arc really, really high. I mean, it's a really, really good arc. Really, really good arc. And it has the most beautiful covers in the entire series when it comes to volumes. Really beautiful stuff. And some of the art, man, by the gods, dude. But continuing on with this statement. It was creative, vibrant, fun, and touching. Very, very factual. So many themes tackled. Very true. People give it crap because of the new Fishman pirates who were never intended to be strong, but serve as a representation of racism and hatred. Being dirty and pathetic like they were is given for people like that, which serve as a proper foe for an arc that promotes bringing about change and bridging a peace between races and species. That's beautiful, man. The nosebleed thing's another grab. I'll give that. It could have been brought up in another way than what it was a gag. But blood being a key component in the arc had to be brought up in some form. I mean, it's regular One Piece style, man. Oda always has to, show us that it's still a fun series. And with the Sanji moments, even for me as a Sanji fan, the nosebleeds, I didn't really care for it as much. I mean, always hearing people talk about it, it made me think about it like, okay, maybe I should have, but I never cared for it, man. Like, and I'm a huge Sanji fan, guys, and I've never really cared about the blood spewing out or anything in that arc, because I just always thought that was Sanji, And in Fishman Island, in a place. I mean, this is the same man who just being next to Cammy's tits in flipping Sabaody. I mean, the man was dying in the water, so you would expect him to be surrounded by all an island full of them, and he won't be bleeding out. I mean, come on, man, come on, bro. It had to be done. So that's my whole thing for the whole blood thing. I never really took it seriously. It was just classic One Piece. So, but I agree with everything that you stated, man, and it definitely had. I think another thing that maybe could be a reason as to why a lot of people don't like this arc is because if you've been reading the series for a long time and you didn't like the way that it was done, because I've heard the complaint from people that have been with the series for a long time that it was either very it didn't live up to the hype that they originally had for it, because Fishman Island was being built up from 2007, guys. From the moment I caught up to One Piece, and a Thriller Bark, and even before that, in his lobby. So they kept bringing up Fishman Island, and we gotta go to Fishman Island, and then we finally got into it in the end of 2010, and a lot of people didn't like the way that it turned out, which. Everyone has their own way of experiencing the series, but for me and my weekly experience with Fishman Island, the reason why I liked it so much is because it gave me the adventure aspect I hadn't had in 3 years. I didn't have an adventure feel in One Piece. One Piece, guys, One Piece. I was in the middle of an insane survival. Or I should say, no, the first one was a race against time and Impel Down. Then it was a complete war and freaking epitome of awesome sauce in Marineford. And then you had all the flashback, and then you had the post war stuff. So right after Return to Sabaody, where we get back to Sabaody and you get like the whole crew back together and everything, of course the first thing we had to do was go on this adventure to Fishman Island. And those first few chapters of whenever we first get there and we see this glorious place and all the crew is together again after so long, I love it. I loved the adventure aspect in Fishman Island, and just like you said, how vibrant everything is. That's something you have to give a lot of credit to, not only to the way that Oda did it, because in the manga it's really awesome sauce as well. But I have to give a lot of credit to Toei, man, because I feel like Fishman Island, I remember when it was coming out in 2011 in the anime, and I remember how different it looked from everything else in the anime, and I said maybe it's something just for the time skip, but Fishman Island still to this day just overall looks and feels different from even Punk Hazard and Dressrosa. Like, it just has its own feel to it that you can only get from Fishman Island in terms of the animation, or not really animation, but the way that the anime is presented and whatnot. So I had to give a lot of shout out to Toei on that. But the adventure aspect, a lot of, because the thing is with Hody, well, not really with Hody, but with Hody, with Vanderdeck, and with New Fishman Pirates, is the biggest complaint that I always hear, just like you said, is that they weren't. Zoro one-shotted him. Basically, why would you care if Zoro already took him out? And I feel like Fishman Island did it so well, because then what was the point? What would be the point of a time skip? What would be the point of a time skip if these guys come back and they're already struggling? You know, like they're already struggling really, really hard against someone that they just started fighting against. And I like the way that they handled this. What was the biggest struggle for the Straw Hats was the situation that they were placed in. Not really that these guys were strong, but it was the situations they were placed in. And then, of course, whenever everything got back together, the walk to the plaza was so flippin' beast, man. That scene is really, really well done in the anime. But I really, really like the fight between Luffy and Hody Jones, because it's quick, it's simple, and since you already know why Hody Jones is doing this, it just nails on the point. The Red Hawk is one of my favorite finishing moves as well, but I feel like Fishman Island does such a great job of showcasing these are the Straw Hats now, and we're ready to take on the New World. We are ready to take on the New World. And another thing that I love, my favorite Fishman Island volume is volume 66. The Execute Order 66. And the reason for that is because the post-arc in Fishman Island is unbelievably god tier. And I'm not just talking about story-wise, I'm talking about art-wise. If you look at some of those double page spreads and some of those color pages that we had whenever they were partying in Fishman Island at the very end, those were gorgeous. And you just see Oda and how he can create so many different. I mean, everybody in here is either a mermaid, a fisherman, or a human, and everyone still you can differentiate and it's a massive panel, guys, like massive panels of people partying. And I feel like there is no panel besides possibly Zoe, there is no other arc that we can see the amount of different character designs Oda can possibly have on one page. And that's something I've always liked about his art. And you've got, of course, that stuff with Robin and Joy Boy, that part of the Big Mom. Come on, man. And as much as people don't like Shirahoshi, I digged her, man. I really did. Maybe it's because I got into it with the manga, of course, first, and I didn't hear the voice in the anime, because I won't even lie, the Shirahoshi voice in the anime, it does get a bit like annoying at times, but I'm still okay with her voice. I mean, it's meant to be like that because that's her character. She's a spoiled princess, but at the same time, you understand why she's in this situation. You know, being locked up for that long, guys, being locked up for that long amount of time, man. I mean, who can blame Shirahoshi for acting like that? You know, especially after she finds out everything that happened to come on, man. I mean, Shirahoshi, man. She's definitely a character that, after finishing the arc, I had a completely different way of feeling about her afterwards, because I had an opportunity to look back on the entire arc and say, man, she had it hard. She definitely had it hard, man. And Fishman Island will always have a special place in my heart due to the simple fact that it was the first arc after the time skip, and since the Straw Hats finally got back together, this was their first adventure back together. This was the first time we saw so many of the amazing gags we hadn't seen in years. It was just a very, very fun weekly experience, and the art was on point. A lot of the storytelling was on point, and I just love the setting of Fishman Island. I love the characters, and so Fishman Island. I can see why it's at number 6, because it didn't live up to the hype that a lot of people had it towards. A lot of people just didn't like how long it was, and a lot of people just were bored throughout the entire thing, which, everybody experiences every series differently. But to me, Fishman Island, I love it, man. I love the way that you represent, or that the way that you put why you love this arc so much, SMX Wing. I couldn't have said it any better myself, man. It really, really well thought out, and I completely agree, man. It is a great arc. Fishman Island, AwesomeSauce, and I'm glad to see you have put that comment, because you were pretty much the only one down there that I saw with a comment like that for Fishman Island, man. So I definitely do appreciate you having it that high, because every the way that I feel about One Piece arcs is that every arc can hit you differently. Because, like, for example, I really learned this whenever we did the ranking the arc stream. I have had Drum Island. At one point in time, I had Drum Island in my top 5. I have it at number 6. I've had it up there for years for me, because Drum Island will forever be one of my favorite arcs in One Piece for so many different reasons. And we'll make a completely separate video about Drum Island one day, about why I love that arc so much, and why that arc is so freaking godly, and why that arc is just filled with so much awesome sauce. Drum Island, it will forever be up there for me. But I remember doing the ranking the arc stream, and the only other person, we had around 7 people in there. The only other person that had it that high other than me was my boy Zaki. Everyone else had it way later, like 20s, 22s, 18s, 19s. Even the subscriber list I was leading, a lot of people had it really low. And like all the way like in the 20s. I'm like, Drum Island in the 20s? In the 20s? I find that blasphemous. But then I took a look back, and I'm like, this is what's so amazing about this series, is that we were able to take a look back at all the arcs, and every single arc has something for everybody. And there's some arcs that have some of those things that are more for some people than others. Like, for example, for me with Return to Sabaody, no, it's almost blasphemous to have like a 7-chapter arc. It's only a volume, and as your number 2 favorite arc in this 800-chapter series. But it is, and it's up there because of how it connected to me, and how it hit me, and how much I love it, and everything that happened in Return to Sabaody. But for other people, they'll be like, the flip is this guy talking about, man? He's crazy, he's insane. So after that Ranking the Arc stream, it truly hit me even more than ever, because I always felt that way. Like, as long as you love One Piece, man, who cares? But I always felt like, everyone's going to have a different top 5 and different top 10 when it comes to the series. That's one of the beautiful things about One Piece, because every single arc hits everybody differently. And whatever hits you most, man. It's just the way that it is, and that's the beautiful thing about this series. So, getting on to that, staying on the topic of Return to Sabaody, we're going to go ahead and go in with number 5, man. And number 5, it both saddens me, but at the same time, I'm like, well, you know what? It is what it is. It's a number 5, and that is Return to Sabaody, man. Now this, I've said it many times, but this is my second favorite arc in all of One Piece. And Return to Sabaody, it came in at number 5 with 64 points. Now, my entire thing, let me get the volume. Let me get the volume, man. This is it's probably either tied second or maybe my most reread. It's with volume 41. But this volume right here, I reread so many times, guys. This arc, in both the manga and the anime, is perfection. I am a huge sucker for anything after a large time skip that involves getting the band back together. And any series that you can ever bring this concept, that I'm a huge sucker for that, man. And no series in anything I've ever witnessed in my years of watching so much and reading so much in this wide range of entertainment that I've consumed on all my years of being alive. No series has ever pulled the bringing the band back together better than Return to Sabaody did. I have never seen anyone do it better. And it's mainly due to the fact of how they were separated and the journey their captain had to go through. And then the message, which then they all received, they said, okay, let's meet back there. And it went all the way back to so many years before. And you're just like, oh, that's a genius. And then we had a month break. And then after that month, chapter 598 came out. And I mean, son, seeing the way they are now. And the way that they had the fake straw hats. I mean, I can go on for years about why I love this arc. One of the most hype moments in all of One Piece to me, period. In both the manga and the anime. And to me still is possibly the best One Piece episode in terms of animation, man. Episode 521. You cannot tell me you weren't hype when he said too slow, bro. And he did. And you heard We Go playing in the background. And he's just, Gear Secando. I mean, come on, bro. The pacifista were destroying, easily decimating everyone on the island. Luffy one-shotted for this dude, bro, and then Sanji Zoro coming. I mean, the way that they showed up, I mean, it's just perfect. You were like, guys, I haven't seen these guys in so long. Getting to see how they changed, you know, getting to see all of their time skip designs, wanting to find out why it is and what they've learned and all the stuff that they've been through. You know, oh my god, dude. And this was the way it was done. Nami and Usopp were so beast in that bar scene, dude. You're like, yo, the freaking Soul King, everyone is like, Brooke is a bastard. He be playing his thing. Young lady, but regardless. Zoro, man, I got on the wrong ship. I mean, come on, bro. Seeing all of this stuff that was so them. When every time Sanji saw a female, I was dying. I was like, I missed this, man. And then Luffy himself, yo, that panel, one of my top five in One Piece. When Rayleigh is tearing up when Luffy says, Rayleigh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna bring the fire again. That's such a legendary battle. I need to find that panel, bro. Where is it? Yeah, I know it's in this volume. Oh my god, bro. And then the Roger flashback. Oh, oi, Rayleigh. Yeah. Yo, where is it, man? Yo, that's a legendary vault. Let's see. It's right here in this chapter. Come on, bro. That is one of my favorite panels in the entire series. Got on the wrong ship, man. Yo, Zoro's a beast, yo. Let me see. Okay. Dude, oh my god, bro. When they finally all got together, right, and the way that Rayleigh was tearing up, man, god, that was such a legendary stuff, dude. Alright. Let's go ahead and bring this up. God, I'm shaking so much from excitement, I can barely hold the book. I'm gonna be honest here. Yo, and when he says go all the way to the top. Alright, hold on. Right here. Yo, this right here. One of my favorite pages in all One Piece, bro. This right here. I'm gonna be king of the... Look at Rayleigh, bro. The deer. The single deer. Get out of here. One Piece. Bro, I've reread that volume so many times. And it's just a personal thing, guys. It's just a personal thing. Reading that every week after not having One Piece for 5 weeks. And after everything that we've gone through for 2 years, this war, and how much I miss the Straw Hats, man, because I always say, no, I don't care, man. Look, one of these days, I'm just gonna have to accept it, that my 9 favorite characters in the series are Straw Hats. I mean, if I had to make like a top 9 or a top 10, 9 of them are gonna be the Straw Hats, because I'm always with them. I'm so connected to them, man. I'm emotionally connected to these characters, which is why I'm shocked that I love Whole Cake Island so much, because not all of them are here. And it's like, well, not all of them are here, but they're focusing so much on the ones that are here and its greatness. But Return to Sabaody will forever be one of my favorite arcs, man. It's everyone getting back together, bro. It was just so amazing, man. I can't even begin to express. I'm fangasming right now. I cannot wait to hear this in the dub. When this comes out in the dub, the moment they announce a trailer or anything, I'm doing a live reaction to it. I don't care. I can't wait to see how Colin Clickenbeard is going to do the legendary Too Slow. If she doesn't do the Too Slow, she's not Luffy. That's the way it is. She's got to pull off the Too Slow. That's such a sick scene, bro. If you want to demonstrate how strong you are post time skip, and yo, when Sanji and Zoro still showing their relationship, they come up in there. Sanji breaks his neck, and Zoro cuts him, and you're like, Zoro, how did you get that eye? And then the revelation with Sanji, and where the. I'm done. Return to Sabaody is obviously my number one, but it's number 5 on this list. All right, it's number 5. Let's get off of this greatness before I start having like a fangasm attack, man. I just. Return to Sabaady's too good, man. It's too amazing, and hopefully one day when that dub comes out, man. Oh, if copyright didn't exist, you best believe I would do an entire anime and manga comparison. I mean, I'd be Uber Hikari up in here with the analysis on Return to Sabaody and why it is GOAT. All right, one day when I don't care about copyright, man. Who knows? We'll see. But coming in number 4, guys. God, man, yo, I think I lost a couple of. I was sweating a bit talking about the greatest Return to Sabaody, man. I'll be honest here, but let's go to number 4. So coming in number 4, man. Oh man, I forgot about one thing, yo. The revelation of Kuma, bro. I'm done with Return to Sabaody. I'm done. It's greatness. It is amazing. We know it's amazing. But let's move on. Number 4. Punk Hazard coming in with 96 points at number 4. Now, Punk Hazard is very, very interesting because Punk Hazard is where a lot of people that I watch besides Sawyer 7 Mage, and because Sawyer 7 Mage has been doing One Piece content, the first ever YouTube video I ever watched for anything in general when it comes to anime and manga, besides like the old Naruto AMVs and when the old Bleach AMVs and the old One Piece AMVs, like that kind of stuff. I did my first ever chapter review. That I watched was for chapter 598, Return to Sabaody again, for Sawyer. And besides Sawyer, and I think a little bit after like for Neverworld and whatnot, but I think besides Sawyer, it took a while for almost anyone else to bring up like the One Piece reviews, you know, and then King of Lightning came up in there, and Zoro and Jorishe, and a lot of guys that I still watch to this day. And these guys almost all started up during Punk Hazard. And I'll never forget watching those videos every week. And, God, man, when Zoro cut Monet, bro, I was like, I need someone to release a video about this now. Or if not, I might start a channel myself, dude, because it was, I was so hyped. Listen to me, guys. That Zoro Monet moment had me, like, on clock. Punk Hazard has so many amazing character-defining moments. Like, the Nami scene where she's defending the kids, bro, that is top 5 greatest Nami scenes ever, and the way that it's drawn, God, I mean, this is my whole thing with Punk Hazard, right? Punk Hazard started because the thing is, we hadn't gone to once again going with the adventure aspect, we went into this island because we were called, and basically like something wrong was going on in Punk Hazard, you know, just to get like the gist of it out here. So they go on there, we encounter a dragon off rip, then we get news that Aokiji and Akainu duked it out here, and half of the island goes to where one and half the other goes to the other, and that's why everything's on fire on one end. And you're like, what? And you find out that there's the government's involved here. Then you see Law, and when I saw Law, because Law at one point in time, for me, the most interesting character pre-Timeskip was Doflamingo and Blackbeard. Those are my 2 most interesting characters, that are in, because of course the most interesting character in all One Piece is Roger, no doubt, for me at least. But the most interesting character that I could not wait to learn more about was Blackbeard and Doflamingo. And Law was always up there as well too. But I always wanted to learn more about Kid. I always really liked the Kid, but Law I really dug too. Law was awesome. So when we got this whole arc with Punk Hazard with Law, and then you got the switches with the bodies, Sanji and Nami's body, I enjoyed that for all the weeks that it was in, man. All of the weeks that was in. The Tashigi and Smoker stuff was beautiful. Just having Smoker and Luffy interact in this arc, just like old times, it just gave a really, really nostalgic vibe, and it was so cool, and it was really nice. I absolutely loved it, man. And it was our first real adventure in the New World. And that scene, man, when freaking Brooke is playing them out to big sake, then you see all the laboons come out, the species going up, and you in that panel when they first shoot up, and you see the whole world is like in chaos, and you're like, yo, the new world is something to be messed with. So, and Punk has just so many character-defining moments, but before we get into any of that, to this very day, I still love every single villain that was introduced in this arc. Even, I mean, there's even some characters like the Yeti Cool brothers that are so. I mean, these guys got them all. They were pretty fodder in the grand scheme of things. But I love the name Yeti Cool brothers, and the way that the anime did it, Yeti Cool brothers. You know, it's something nostalgic for me because that's whenever I started doing videos. It was in Punk Hazard. So yeah, that's extremely nostalgic, like in terms of like, yeah, man, that's whenever I started picking up the camera talking about that in the anime. But yeah, the Yeti Cool brothers, a freaking brown beard, man. Brown beard. Oh man, brown beard's a funny dude. But man, Monet, to this very day I still love Monet. Monet is such an awesome. I love her devil fruit. Love her design. She was so interesting. Just the way that she acted, you never knew whether she was completely under Caesar or not, whether she could betray them at any time, and it was just so weird. So, and I love Monet. Caesar himself, to this very day, he's still very interesting, and I'm very, very intrigued by why he does the things that he does, because he's a scientist, and he has that very Mayuri type of vibe to him, and I've always liked Caesar for that. I like his devil fruit as well. And then a Virgo, for a long time, that meat gag was all it took. But with the stuff getting like stuck to his face, like the meat and the eggs and the forks and all that stuff. But man, this arc had so many awesome moments in terms of feats, in terms of hype, in terms of character defining moments. I mean, some of those that Nami scene I love so much to this very day. Sanji and Virgo was so hype, even though Sanji, you know, got a little fractured, but that was still hype. We heard a woman, he felt it. He went in there like somewhere immediately. The Zoro Monet, still, oh god, I love that scene so much, bro. With Zoro and Monet in both the anime and the manga. And then the Luffy and Caesar, the Grizzly Magnum was so sick. But there's one thing about Punk Hazard that had me going the entire time. When we first heard that Joker was Doflamingo, I said, finally. I was like, yo! And finally, we're getting Doflamingo. And I was wondering, I mean, I'm telling you, weeks leading up to it, I said, when is Doflamingo going to come in? When is Doflamingo going to come in? Because I wanted to see how Doflamingo, because knowing his position at the time, you know, I would always go back to Marineford and reread how he would interact with the world government. And I would say, man, you see how how his ideologies are and how his view of the world is when it comes to his sense of justice and whatnot. So how would he interact, or how would he, you know, come whenever he's face to face with Smoker in a situation where all the other Marines aren't around? How would they interact? And listen, man, not only did we get that, bro, I think everything after chapter 686 until chapter 699, which was the final chapter of Punk Hazard, or post Punk Hazard, I was just, oh my god, bro, that was such an amazing time. God, man, look, when that panel came out that week, and the man, bro, the Sky Demon, when he went like this, and he exited through the window, and he was flying in the air, and they were like, Dofi's coming, and I was so hyped, I was like, Dofi's coming! So, then, you know, with all the Alliance stuff, when they said, we're going after all of them, man, Shanks, Kaido, Big Mom, I don't care, now we're going after them all. Oh, that was so cool. But man, dude, and the setting of Punk Hazard was really cool. There was so many things that, you know, going into it was just so interesting and kept me so interested throughout the entire arc. Even with the kids, like I was really interested in the kids' storyline because I was really intrigued on how Caesar managed to do all this, and with the whole stuff with the candy. And how they were so addicted to it. It was just so very, very intriguing because we hadn't gotten something like that in One Piece before. And I really, really like that. And I like the way that Oda told it on a week-to-week basis. It was a lot of fun to experience for sure. But man, I as much as I love the whole arc, I cannot deny that the ending of that arc, as arc should be, the ending of that arc was beyond legendary, man. Listen, when Aokiji showed up, because we saw that silhouette of him riding the bicycle on the water, and I said, no, it can't be. It can't be. When he showed up and he held Luffy's hand, I was done. I said, no. Oh man, the introduction of Kiryu, and I just Punk Hazard. I can understand. I saw a lot of people put it at number 1. A lot of people put Punk Hazard number 1, which is why I was surprised, because when I first made the poll, so many people voted for Punk Hazard, but then after a while, I don't know, a lot of people didn't vote for Punk Hazard. So I was like, okay, but man, Punk Hazard was hype. Punk Hazard was it had so much going for it, and a lot of different a mixture of a lot of elements. I know a lot of the biggest complaint I've heard from Punk Hazard as to why people don't like it is because there's a lot of running. But you know, it is what it is, man. They had to run away, in a lot of different points in the arc, especially in the anime. But it is what it is. It was still very, very entertaining. A lot of the stuff in there was like, dude, because I think that a lot of things about that arc is that it's stuff I've been wanting to see for so long. Like, you know, deep inside, I'd always wanted to see like what Sanji would be like if he ever entered Nami's body. I'd always wanted to see Law and Luffy tackle an arc together, like go on an adventure together. Like that would be something flippin' awesome. Just have Smoker come back, man. But this is all taking place on a scientist island. Dofa flipping Mingo, and so many of them have really awesome character defining moments with Luffy, Usopp's speech, man, greatness, Zoro, Sanji, Nami. I mean, it was great. It was really, really good, and I really enjoyed Punk Hazard. It was definitely a treat, and one day I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna have to see if because I know in the colored scans where I read it last time, there was a couple of things that I wanted to talk about, but I never got around to. But Punk Hazard, it has a lot of nostalgia to it for me. It's definitely, you know, it was the first arc that I started doing whenever in terms of the anime on this channel. But speaking of nostalgia, man, or I should say, speaking of stuff I started doing when I started the channel. Now this is tough. These next 3, but this just shows. It makes me smile because at the very least, it shows you that Oda just continues to get better, and he continues to bring greatness. Because if you've noticed, the 3 at the bottom are the first 3 arcs in the thing, which is why I don't even care the Sabaody's on the bottom. You know, Fishman Island, Return of Sabaody, and Punk Hazard, first 3 arcs, in post Timeskip. So it just shows that Oda has definitely been packing in, especially how close all 3 of these besides number 1. Number 1 is far ahead of all of them on this list. But let's go ahead and go to number 3, man. I'm so happy that this made it up there because I thought that it was going to get the flack that I've been seeing for so long for this arc because of its length and because of the way that the anime did it, and because I mean, even though I really liked it in the anime, I truly felt like so many people started complaining about it more due to this arc about the anime. And I'm a huge supporter of Toei Animation when it comes to the way they do the One Piece series. I mean, for God's sake, that's how I first got into it. You know, I can never talk crap about someone who got me into the greatness in the first place. So let's go ahead and talk about Dressrosa, man. So Dressrosa is number 3, coming in with 120 points. Now, Dressrosa has a lot of things for me that I have to thank it for. For God's sakes, that's where I started doing the channel. That's number 1, man. That's when I first came on here and decided to talk about the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? So Dressrosa will always have a very, very close place right up in here, man. It will always be near and dear to my heart. Now, with Dressrosa, guys, if you've been in the anime community, you know. If you've been in the One Piece community, you know what everyone's complaints about this arc is. I don't have to reiterate them. Everyone always has the same complaints when it comes to Dressrosa. But Ben, the way that I attack it, the way that I look at it, is that Dressrosa needed to be this long. When we look back at the end of the series, when we finish One Piece, and we look back at Dressrosa, we're going to realize why this arc had to be this long. Because in this arc, Luffy gained so many companions and so many people to his fleet. he gained a flipping grand fleet at the end. He gained so many people in his fleet that you know are going to play a major role at the end of the story. Post Dressrosa might just be my favorite post arc thus far in the series. And I'm not joking on that. When you have Fujitora and Akainu, Fujitora directly attacking the fleet admiral, my main man Akainu, and telling him off saying, what's going on up in here, man? And because Akainu's pissed, but Fujitora came back with the flames. Then you have Kaido, which to this very day is one of the most shocking moments I've ever seen. I was so shocked when I saw Kaido come out of the sky. I come on, yeah, that was sick. So Kaido. Then you had my personal favorite chapter of that year, and then my top favorite chapters in One Piece. The legendary chapter 801. You already know why. Then we got Weevil. Wait, Weevil! A character we had no idea of previous to this. And a lot of things in Post Dressrosa that we're still talking about to this day. Post Dressrosa was AwesomeSauce, man. I think only the post-war and Post in his lobby out of the post arcs can really compare to it, because Post in his lobby was insane, and the post-war, that's probably the best one out of the. That's tough because Post Dressrosa was just so crazy. Because I think the reason why Post Dressrosa was so crazy too is because Dressrosa was so long. When we got to Post Dressrosa, and then with the Alliance, man, the new bounties. I mean, so many awesome things happened in Post Dressrosa. But just looking back on it, Dressrosa had so many amazing moments. And the beginning of Dressrosa, man. Let me tell you something, bro. Let me tell you something. To this very day, I don't have regrets. I almost never have any regrets. But one of my biggest regrets is not doing a live reaction to chapter 731. Those 3 weeks of 729, 730, and 731 are going to be weeks that I never ever forget as a One Piece fan. Ever! When I saw Law get shot, I was like, holy flag nerds. Then the week after, we see, I read this. Let me tell you where I was when I read 730. I read it in the school library. And I remember coming home from school that day and recording the video. And I was going ham. I said the same thing I'm about to say to you right now. I read this in the school library. And I yelled when I saw Big Mom's ship. I legitimately flew out of my chair and yelled when I saw Big Mom's ship. I could not believe my ojos. I thought they were deceiving me. Like yesterday in that Kingdom chapter. I thought they were deceiving me. I was like, Big Mom? She wants a piece of the pie too? And then Oda, in the next chapter, gives us the man. The GOAT. I do it because my whole thing with Dressrosa, man. Dressrosa has so many high points for that I just can't forget. The revelation of Ace's Devil Fruit being under Doflamingo. The revelation of these guys being supporters and having a statue and being alive as long, remembering the greatest of Black Norland. Norland was Norlando. Now, when I first saw that with the Tontadas, man, I was like, what? Norland? Then the Coliseum as a professional wrestling fan. Them having a G1 climax in One Piece was one of the coolest things ever. Luffy and Don Jinjiao. Some of those Devil Fruits and some of those fights I still have engraved in here to this very day. Because they were just so cool. And one of them, it just still catches me off guard. The jacket. Come on, Oda, man. Jacket. It's so cool. I like it. But having your own G1 climax in One Piece, come on, man. That was flipping awesome. And then, dude, that's Sanji and Flippy Doflamingo. Yo, when 723 ended, when me as a tart, as a man who loves Sanji. When I saw that panel of Sanji and Dofi clashing, I said, it's over, ladies and gentlemen. Yo, I was so hyped, bro. Oh man, Fujitora bringing down a meteor. And I remember that same week, I stated here on camera, I said, this was gonna happen. Fujitora is gonna bring down the meteor, and when he brings it down, instead he's gonna have so much force because he's not used to using his double fruit. He's gonna bring it down with so much force that the flipping moon is gonna come down and ride in that moon. It's gonna be Anno twisting his body, thing. And I just had so many theories when it came to that, man. I was like, holy black nuts. But then I really was starting to like a lot of the Dokyo family members, even back in Punk Hazard. Like, I really like Baby 5. I've always liked Baby 5. Always liked Baby 5. But then I started really liking and getting used to the Dokyo family members. But the number one thing I was always most interested in is Doflamingo himself. So those interactions with Doflamingo and Law, Doflamingo and Caesar, Doflamingo, and just in general, just getting to see him and seeing how he interacts, seeing how his family interacts. The whole stuff with Rebecca and the toy soldier. Rebecca's a very interesting thing. Because Rebecca, to me, I can't have Dressrosa without Rebecca. And I feel like by the end, with how with what happened with her, it's I feel like I've truly come to really like Rebecca, man. I'm gonna be honest here. I feel like her character, by the time that we finished the end of Dressrosa, it truly came full circle. And from the first time we met her up until the end, it truly felt like we witnessed her own like her character arc within this massive arc actually become complete, which is what usually you should have in a story arc, similar to that of a lot of different characters we met along the way and a lot of these islands. But since we were in Dressrosa for so long, but by the time that we finally got to see what happened at the end with Rebecca and the main man. Yo, listen, man. Kairos. I've always loved Kairos, man. But, oh, God, dude. With Kairos, that flashback was so awesome. I can't stress it enough. But with Kairos and Rebecca, I truly feel like their relationship by the end truly made it all worth it. Because, I was pretty emotional that chapter. I think it was 799? 798? I think no, never mind. That's on the old channel. Never mind. That's on the old channel. But I know that I was about to say you can look at it on here. But man, I was emotional, man, for a lot of the stuff that happened with Kairos and Rebecca, because you gotta think about it, man. Rebecca went through so many years. Me as a son of parents that I truly do love. I can only imagine how that must have been for Rebecca, man. And I still to this day wish we would have gotten more out of her mother, out of Scarlet, but it is what it is. And but still, I feel like by the end, Rebecca, Viola, I feel like their characters, since Dressrosa, another thing about Dressrosa's length is that it really made me truly like a lot of these characters because of how long I was with them. It truly made me invested in their story. And with Rebecca, by the time that it was completed there at the end, I was genuinely happy for her. I was genuinely happy that she no longer had to go through this pain anymore, and now she could live with Kairos in happiness. And it was going to be AwesomeSauce. But, going on, continuing on forward, anything and everything that had to do with Doflamingo in this arc. I mean, everything. Everything that this man is. The dialogue he spit. When Luffy and Law took on Doflamingo for those couple of months, and the freaking Law flashback, Corazon, the main. I have like a top 5 of favorite flashback characters. Corazon's up there. Corazon is up there, man. He's the man. I'll make that video one day. Top 5 favorite flashback characters, but. Yo, man, Corazon is the man, dude. That flashback really caught me off guard because I knew Law was gonna have like a really sad backstory. But first of all, I didn't expect him to be a D, number one, and the whole thing with him and Corazon was just so beautiful. Yo, that panel still engraved in my head, bro. When they're like on the other side of each other, bro, and he has the gun. Corazon, dude. Corazon greatness, man. I remember actually when what chapter was it? I think it was the flipping Flagnards. I think it was 758, if I want to say. But it's the chapter that has the panel of all the Don Quixote family members, and back whenever they were younger, and it shows them all in the seat together. I was like, yo, man, these guys were bosses. They were the mafia, man. They just went up straight in there like swimwear. Speaking of that, speaking of the family, Senor Pink versus Frankie. If you are a fan of wrestling and you don't appreciate that match, man, I don't know what to tell you, bro. That match was manliness to the core. That was a gimmick match. That was a wrestling match, guys. Two guys with completely out there gimmicks going at it for their pride, for their honor, with excellent storytelling. I remember Laz said this the other day. Shout out to Laz. But excellent storytelling. If you're a wrestling fan, you have to appreciate Senor Pink versus Frankie. It was a wrestling match, man. They were men out there, dude. That was great. I love Senor Pink and Frankie. Some of my favorite stuff in Dressrosa. Zorro and Pika, man. One of my favorite panels in that arc was when Zorro was like this small, and you saw the ginormous Pika just being cut in half, man. Oh, that was such a sick panel. The Kairos flashback of finding out how everything happened there. Even going back even further, the whole concept of the toys in this island of Dressrosa was so intriguing to me, man, and I could not wait to find out more. And by the time we actually started getting more information and why all this was happening, all that stuff, it was coming at us. It was like, wow, a lot of these guys had to go through a lot of stuff, man. Now, can you imagine living on Dressrosa for that long, forgetting so many people that you love, man? It's like, wow, man. It was, I remember it's been a long time, but I remember I was in the bathroom talking about it. But I remember I made a whole discussion about the toy subject. I don't even remember what I said, but I just remember that's how like intrigued I was by the entire concept. But just a long story short, when it comes to Dressrosa, it has a lot of awesome moments. When Sabo won the Merida no Mi, when Sabo just show up, period, man. Sabo showing up, period, man. That's my guy. Yo, Sabo! Sabo and Burgess, man. Jesus, Burgess, dude. Finding out the revelation in chapter 821, bro. Whenever we went, or 821, 721. Whenever we found out that Kuzan was possibly under Blackbeard, I was like, what? And we were all shook for so long. And, the thing with Burgess, Sabo AwesomeSauce, that first chapter when he gets to Meta, never forget that chapter. Oh, that chapter was flipping AwesomeSauce. Luffy versus Doflamingo, an unforgettable experience, man. I mean, the dialogue between those two guys, there's a couple panels to stand out in the entire fight. When Dofi sits, when he's like when he was about to just come down there and just destroy. His foot was coming down, and Luffy stops it with his own foot. And that's the way the chapter ended. And Luffy's just looking at him, and Dofi's holding the foot up, and he's like, Luffy's like telling him, "Yeah, what you doing, son? What you doing?" That was sick. And oh man, dude, one of the chapters that completely blew up the anime community. I mean, this Dressrosa had a lot of chapters that blew up the anime community. With the Ace's Double Fruit, that made everyone go crazy. The Sky Demon had it, man. The Heavenly Demon. It's gonna hold a tournament, and everyone's speculating over this, right? So whenever that revelation, chapter 700, then you had when Fujitora brought on a meteor. That started setting a lot of people into disarray. When Big Mom showed up, but the first real moment that was like hitting everywhere on social media, Sabo's return. Oh my God, was everybody going crazy over that, man. I mean, even me, that's still my favorite chapter in the arc. Sabo greatness. Then you had Gear 4. So, the Gear 4. I remember it like it was yesterday, man. I woke up because me and my brother were so hyped for this, we could barely sleep. So me and my brother, we made a little video talking about what we would think a Gear 4th was going to be about. And he said that it was going to start shooting out lasers and whatnot. I remember uploading that video, and it was hilarious. But then the day after, I legit did this. I got out of bed, I went over there, brushed my teeth, I came back immediately and started reading the chapter. And it was one of the greatest experiences I could ever ask for as a One Piece fan. Experiencing a gear for the first time, man. When I first saw that form and all the moves, I was getting so hyped. The first thing I thought of, I said, I can't wait to use this form in a game. When I got Burning Blood, I said, yo, the wait was worth it, man. Careful! Still to this day, it's my favorite gear. It's my favorite gear, man. And just seeing that entire fight, chapter 790 was so good. The whole stuff with Gats, I really loved myself as a wrestling fan because, you know, as a man who loves commentators and would love to be one day myself, with Gats being the reason, like with him cheering on Luffy in that speech, man, it was beautiful coming from him as being like the commentator for this head babyface taking on taking on the heel. And Luffy versus Doflamingo. So I really like the Gats chapter myself. And to this very day, it's one of those chapters that really sticks out in Dressrosa. Dressrosa has a lot of stuff that just sticks out. And that's what makes that arc so awesome. Is it has so many amazing moments, man. It truly does. Dressrosa has a lot of moments that completely broke the internet. So it's then 790. Then we have a lot of those really calm, really beautiful, emotional chapters. Then the Kaido chapter hits. And everyone and their mother is going insane. That to this very day is still one of my favorite One Piece videos I've ever recorded because I don't understand how Oda could pull off something so brilliantly. So brilliantly. Greatness. But man, you know, let's get off Dressrosa, man. I could talk about Dressrosa all day. And that's the thing. I only covered upon these things like very casually. I didn't even go in depth on a lot of these characters and whatnot. You could legit have like a 5-hour analysis on everything that took down in Dressrosa, man. Absolutely crazy, dude. Hold on, let me reset the camera right quick. Man, Dressrosa greatness, guys. So, getting off Dressrosa is a great arc, and it's coming in there at number 3. So, great arc, man. Dressrosa truly, it has so many awesome character moments, so many awesome moments in general that you just will always remember as a One Piece fan. And that's what makes that arc so awesome. You know, it has a lot of when it comes to how long it is. Just remember that by the time we finish the series, we'll look back and we will understand why this had to be as long as it did. And so many of the things that happened in that arc and everything that happened in that arc had so many consequences. We're going to be facing them until pretty much the end of this Four Emperors saga. That is how important the Dressrosa arc was. Take out Doflamingo. Gonna start waking up some monsters in the New World. God, I love that speech. 801, chapter 801 by itself could 801. So let's go ahead and talk about the top 2, man. Now this one right here, coming in number 2. This and Dressrosa were really close. Dressrosa was actually winning for a while, but then a lot of people started voting for this arc, and I don't blame them, man. Even though it's incomplete. And even though it's still in the middle of it, I can't believe it, because this is my personal second favorite arc too in post Timeskip, and that is the whole Cake Island arc in this greatness, man. I don't even know where to begin, dude. The first arc with a Yonko. You know, besides Marineford, of course, but the first arc where we are going after a Yonko. And we're going to go get back our main man, Sanji, after the amazing revelation of my proudest thing of the greatness of Sanji's royalty, man. The man. So, we get that. And finding out everything about the Vinsmokes. How this island works, it just in general is so intriguing. But the main thing that drives this arc for me thus far is the story, man. Like, there's a lot of stuff I love about this arc in terms of the characters. I mean, you guys know, I just believe in Pudding 2017, but regardless of that, the storytelling with Sanji and his family, and how everything is connecting to one another, and how everything's gonna blow up at this flippin' tea party. By the gods, guys. I don't even know where to begin with Whole Cake Island, man. Oda's tackling so many issues in this arc when it comes to mending relationships between family members. He's tackling I guarantee he's gonna be tackling the theme of love, and he's gonna be tackling, or he's already tackling, the theme of you should be able to marry who you want to marry, not just because of how it is, you know, of how you're supposed to marry someone else through a political standpoint or in order to gain power. You know, through Pudding, he will show why, or through Pudding through the Lola flashback, he will show why it is that you should marry whoever you fall in love with and whoever you truly do desire and who you like and who you want to be with for the rest of your life. And I feel like he's gonna tackle that theme, the theme of relationships, man. And he started off as simple as thing with Pound. It's gonna lead into something way greater later on. I guarantee it. The concept of the homies, the concept of having a freaking Yonko and her crew here, and you're just like, how in the flying flagnards are we going to get out of the situation? Because the way that Oda did it was absolutely, it boggles my mind, because at first I didn't see it, but after rereading the arc, it truly showed me, wow, Oda truly nailed it home, because he just made the arc far more interesting after that point. When Luffy takes on Cracker, and he truly gives it everything that he has just to take him out, it really just goes to show you that the Straw Hats, if they were to just go on head on with these guys, they would probably lose, because Luffy took all this to take down Cracker. It's not even Big Mom, not even all the commanders aren't even here yet, or I should say, we haven't even faced them yet. So the fact that he took on Cracker first, and he went in that hard just to defeat one of them, should show you, like, whoa, like, we gotta be careful in this and here, man. But it's the way the arc has been structured as well, guys. First with the introduction with Pudding, and the way that the whole Pudding supposedly said, because the way that it worked was, we get to the island, we meet Pudding, and we start figuring out a little bit more about the whole wedding, where it's going to be heading, where should we go, and that's where we're going to end up going. So, that's how you already start off the little threads with Pudding and the strongest relationships right there. So Pudding goes off, and she continues on her character arc and her story arc, of trying to get set up for the wedding and for the wedding date and whatnot. So we're already starting off there. Then we get a little bit of stuff with Jinbei and Big Mom, those little details every now and then. Then Luffy and Co go into the seducing woods, and stuff starts going on there. And then a couple more plot threads and plot points are being with Pound, Carrot and Chopper end up going into the mirror world. A couple of things start going in. Then Nami brings up the problem of Lola and how she has the Lola River card, and that's why they are so afraid of Nami, because she has the Lola River card. And then that leads into Pound, that's actually Lola's daughter, and then now the plot thickens even more. So then little things like that we start figuring out even more, and just amongst the pretty interesting character designs and very interesting dynamic of how similar this is to Disney, and how the antagonists are attempting to take us out by, even though they are so many of them are so stronger than us, it almost feels like they're using all these tricks just to take us out. And it's weird. It's a weird dynamic, because you compare the Brûlée situation to where, and to the whole entire situation whenever we had to fight like clones of ourselves. Then to Cracker, which was just straight up brawl. Like Luffy actually being overpowered to the point where we had to go all out and reveal a new form. So we get that, and then we get more into Sanji. We get a little bit of Sanji's backstory, getting more into the Vinsmokes, and then that Vinsmoke storyline leads into where we find out so much about why Sanji's doing what he's doing, and where he's coming from, and where this flashback is, and how the Vinsmokes actually are. And then we get Luffy versus Sanji. We find out why it's happening. We see both of the reasons, and we see both of what they are going through and what they have been going through, and how this is all culminating into this one moment. And that makes Luffy versus Sanji hurt so much more. And then everything after that, everything after Luffy versus Sanji has been nothing but absolute awesome sauce. And we have not even reached, let me say this again, we have not even reached the climax of this arc. We haven't even reached the tea party or the wedding. We're just gonna be where everything goes down. And it's amazing, because everything after that, with the Pudding heel turn, which I still believe in her, with the Pudding heel turn, and how that plot everything just immediately sprang up after that. But even before that, with those amazing Luffy character moments, man, and Nami standing there and taking on all of those guys from Big Mom's crew, saying, "We will stay here, and I don't care, man." Beautiful! Dude, it was great this part. and then finding out some even more and it just, the plot just continues to thicken between all three factions. You know, Luffy and Nami now get captured, but then the Vinsmokes now, they're not meeting up with Big Mom, but Big Mom reveals, and we continue to get more revelations, man. The more stuff about the poneglyphs. Then we continue to get information from flipping with Tamago and Pedro. All these guys were savages, and why Pedro has come back, and how this whole thing goes back to why Pedro came here in the first place the first time. And you're like, dude, Pedro is the flipping go through the roulette. And you're like, man, how does this all relate to Jinbei? And then it goes all the way back, and you get to it's just so much stuff, man. And then the whole thing with the giant, and how freaking Big Mom states is that had that wedding gone down, she would have been Pirate King. You're like, what? What? And then you get Brooke Young, the lady. Yeah. And I'm like, because the thing is the way this arc has been going this far, it's just been so unique, so awesome. It has its own atmosphere the closest thing that I can relate it to is Water 7. I have not felt like this in terms of an arc of the way that it feels, of the mystery, constant revelations, the way that it just keeps moving, and how we continue to get stuff chapter after chapter after chapter after chapter. It reminds you so much of Water 7. It truly does, and it's a great feel because it gives if it's dark, it feels darker than usual. I don't know how to explain it, man. Whole Cake Island is, and the way that Oda's tackling these themes, the way he continues to introduce whenever we find out about how the Vinsmokes, of how they've been modified, man. And they basically do not feel the compassion and understanding in terms of which is why they will become the ultimate soldier. And you're like, man, bro, can you imagine being brought up? Can you imagine having to go through a process? It was the same thing I was discussing yesterday in the Kingdom stream. It's like, man, dude, taking out all of that which makes you human. And you know how much of an impact and how amazing the woman's gonna be whenever at the end of the, because I know for a fact it's gonna happen. Whenever they end up actually feeling something at the end of the arc, man, that's gonna be beautiful, bro. Because of the way that they've been treated, or the way that they've been treating other people thus far, the way that we've been seeing the Vinsmokes and whatnot. I apologize if none of my thoughts are coming out cohesively, but I'm too hyped right now, man. Talk about the greatest. I apologize, dude. It's Whole Cake Island has been so flipping amazing thus far. I can't even begin, man. God, everything. I mean, every single week, every chapter leaves me wanting so much more, man. God, I mean, even right now, I can't wait for the next chapter of One Piece, man. It's gonna be greatness, dude. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for the next chapter of One Piece. But it's gonna be awesome sauce, man. I truly cannot wait. But yeah, man, Whole Cake Island just has such a unique feel to it. The themes that Oda is tackling in terms of family is truly awesome sauce, and I can't wait to see how he goes with it. I can't wait to see how this arc's gonna end up, and it just continues to escalate because once again we haven't even reached the climax of the arc. We have not even reached the climax of the arc, and every arc it just continues to get better and better and better. I was like, ow. It's amazing because after Luffy versus Sanji, everything, I mean, that was one chapter of the year last year, and everything after that just continues to get better. It's like, Oda, man, chill. So, that only leaves one arc left, man. You already know what it is, yo. So, coming in number one, man, is an arc that, unanimously, so many people put in number one. And that is the Zou arc, man. The arc that's currently being animated in the One Piece anime, and we just got out of in the manga. Listen to me, man. When it comes to Zou, it's so very interesting when it comes to Zou, because the thing with Zou is that, you know what? Let me read this comment. Let me read this comment for Zou. Let me actually bring this right here. When it comes to the where is it? It's I just want to read this comment right quick before we get into it. Let's go ahead and take a look here. I have that Splatoon song stuck in my head. Let's go ahead and dig right here. So somebody stated, or literally like the person's name is somebody, stated the reason why So is on the top of my list is because there was so much story progression, world building packaged into a few chapters to make up this arc. The world building is the best aspect about One Piece. On top of that, the Rise is safe moment is one of my favorite moments in the whole series. I'm not sure if I agree with the world building aspect being the best aspect. I mean, it is definitely like something that makes One Piece so special. But to me, the emotional connection to the characters is the best thing about One Piece, and about emotional connection just in general. But right here, I want to talk about this thing about Pay to 55, and it's just one little statement about my man Peter. Peter stated that Zoe is just the perfect package of One Piece for me, and when I read that thing, it made me think, and I was like, you know what? You know, Zoe had almost all the Straw Hats meeting up again after so long. At least for us, 3 years for us. They meet up again. And we start getting slow but sure revelations to Sanji. So everything's always about the Straw Hats. At the same time, it's leading towards a bigger picture. And with the Minks, which is awesome characters, and about this island of itself. The island of itself is so One Piece. And it's a flipping humongous 1,000-year-old Philippine elephant. And this thing has been going on and just by the gods. This thing is huge. And then with Jack and that entire story, Rizo is safe, bro. One of the best moments, man. And then the revelations with the road poneglyphs, man, about Roger, bro. When you give him a Roger information, that's how you know it's real. And about Momonosuke. And by the gods, man. Those couple of chapters when we found out about Marco and Blackbeard. Whoa, about the payback war that went down. And man, dude, whenever they were talking about how he was once a part of Roger's ship, man, he was once on the Pirate King ship, and he just gives you so much hype because you cannot wait to get to Wano. Because Zoe's a really, really, really unique arc because it's similar to Sabaody in a couple of aspects. And it's similar to Sabaody, similar to Jaya, similar to a couple of those arcs because it's such a wonderful transitionary arc, but it's such a good arc in of itself. Because you meet these awesome characters you care so much for, it has that defining moment from the arc, and Rizo is safe, and then it gives you the post stuff after that moment that leaves you just, so much progression in terms of the story of One Piece. That, you're learning all of this stuff, and like you now have a clear path to Raftel. As being a One Piece fan for this long, dude, when I saw that panel, and who has the road poneglyphs? Kaido and Big Mom, and you're like, whoa! And the post arc, we see V for the first time. It's setting up the Reverie. Oh man, dude, some of the panels in this arc were so awesome too. Like one of my favorite panels in Zoe is whenever Luffy's looking out, whenever he gets on top, and he just sees the full city right there in front of him, and it's such a beautiful panel, man. I remember I had that as my wallpaper for quite some time. It was such an awesome panel. I love the way the anime did that panel too. Really nice. The anime's been doing a great job with the Zoe arc, by the way. It really has. But yeah, man, so many awesome moments at Zoe. Just seeing the Straw Hats together again. There were so many Nami moments that I loved in this arc. Is just having the Straw Hats interact together and being with them again was so worth it, man. And I agree with you when it comes to it being a perfect package for me as well, because I love arcs with emotional moments, and that's a check. Well, I love arcs with an adventure aspect, that's another check. And I love arcs with all the Straw Hats and getting like something together with the Straw Hats, and with them showing how much that they care for Sanji. Nami, man, when she jumped on Luffy, this is what happened to Sanji, and we get that flashback and the revelation of Sanji Vinsmoke, man, and how he got out of that situation back then. God, man, the way the flashbacks were used in this arc. Hold on, before I get into that, shout out to Nekomamushi and Inarashi. Before I get anything else, shout out to Nekomamushi and Inarashi for being such awesome characters. They are memorable characters that we know for a fact we're going to see them later on in the series again. Such awesome characters. And the fact that Zoe is heading somewhere, we don't know where it's going. You know where it's going. It's going straight to Raftel, man. And because it's been heading somewhere for 1,000 years. We know where it's going. It's going to mother flipping Raftel, man. You already know, son. So, and Arashi and Nekomamushi, that entire story was, the way that was built up, the way the Rizo is safe moment was built up was godly. godly, because we were expecting the complete opposite, man. When the Rise was safe, it was such a shocking but emotional twist, and it was beautiful. But the way the flashbacks were handling this arc, you know, from the Jack attacking flashback to the flashback of with the Sanji stuff, and with what went down with Capone, and finding out with the Sanji Vinsmoke, that entire meeting there in the room, that was such an awesome couple of weeks, man. I can't even lie. But yeah, the way the flashbacks were handling this arc, we got like piece by piece, then we got like full on, this is what happened. And then the same thing with Sanji, this is what happened. And then that's when we get into Rise was safe. It was such a short arc, but we got so much out of it, man. And it was so good. It was progressing every single week. We were getting something new, something awesome, something fun. And it was a really, really fun, really hilarious arc. A lot of emotion. And I can see why a lot of people would like Zoe for sure. It's definitely a really good arc. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how... If because I remember a lot of you saying that at this point in time you would put Whole Cake Island higher, but you still have Zoe higher because it's the one that's currently completed. That still makes me happy that Zoe and Whole Cake Island are 1 and 2, because those are the most recent arcs. It just shows you that Oda just continues to get better, and that always puts a smile on my face, man. Because I hate it whenever like somebody will say, "Oh no, it's so such and such," you know, they were only good in part 1, or they were only good in pre-Timeskip or whatever. Like I don't like that kind of stuff. Yeah, but what's that called? Whenever I saw Zoe so high, I was pretty happy. And Whole Cake Island number 2, I was like, yes. But yeah, going back to the original point I was trying to make. I saw a lot of you say that you would have put Whole Cake Island higher, but it's not completed yet. So I'm wondering, by the time we finish Whole Cake Island, will a lot of you still feel the same way? Will it be number 1? Who knows? Who knows? But I definitely can see why so many of you put Zoe at number 1. It truly was, especially after Dressrosa. Because I said the same thing about the Davy Back fight after Skypiea, because as much as I freaking love Skypiea, guys. It's my third favorite arc. I love Skypiea, but it was such a long arc that after that, getting the Davy Back fight, a small 10-chapter arc, and it didn't even have the amazing stuff that Zoe had in terms of like of the story and the emotional moments and all that stuff. But the Davy Back fight was so much fun because of where it took place in the story, and I feel like Zoe really fits because it's taking place between 2 really big arcs. It's taking place between Dressrosa, which is 100 chapters long, and taking place between Whole Cake Island, which is not really, really long, or it's going to be pretty dang long and really, really dramatic. And Zoe takes place right in the middle. It's such a perfect transitionary arc into a lot of later events that are going to happen in the story, and a lot of really awesome setup that we're going to get later on, and the progression, the amount of story, like, God, man, guys, we have the road to Raftel, man. What more needs to be said? Roger information. When you get information about Goldie Roger, you already know it's GOAT. You already know it's GOAT. And like I said before, man, the build up to the Rise was safe moment, and flipping Raizo himself, God, man, the Nekomamushi and Rashi, their stuff. Nekomamushi's still my favorite, but Nekomamushi is flipping awesome sauce. So is Rashi. And then I love their characters. The small stuff like with Robin and Zoro and their comedic moments. The Nami and Luffy interactions with Usopp as well. You know, it's just a lot. The Chopper falling in love, like that was cool. And it's just a lot of the small stuff that really does matter at the end of the day when it comes to One Piece. And a lot of the post stuff. The referee being set up and all that stuff. So I can definitely see why a lot of you are pretty damn high. It's such a great transitionary arc, and dang, Zoe was so good, man. Shout out to Oda. Shout out to Oda for creating godly arcs, man. Shout out to him, dude. When we're sitting here trying to figure out why some people have it over one another, that's how you know. When you can only compare it to itself, that's when you know the series is GOAT. But yeah, man, it's been a long video, but dang it, it was a lot of fun to record. Thank you if you stuck this far with me, man. If you stuck with this far with me, you know, leave me down below if you watched the whole video or whatever. But yeah, man, because I don't even think I formed one cohesive thought throughout this entire video. I was rambling. I don't even know what I was saying, but you know what? It's the One Piece greatness, man. It is the One Piece greatness, and I truly did enjoy making this video, just looking back at the awesome moments that this post-time skip has given us, and I'm really, really happy that a lot of you guys put the latest 3 arcs as your favorites, because it just shows that Oda continues to get better, and that makes me happy as a One Piece fan, because it shows us that we're going to just continue to get better and better as the series progresses, and it's gonna lead us into the greatest ending in any form of entertainment ever. So it's gonna be flipping awesome sauce. But you guys have an awesome day. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the Recon's Piece segment. If you like the Recon's Piece segment, please make sure to let me know down below that you want me to continue doing this and that you like it or whatnot. And what any criticisms of it would you have, or like for me in this video, flipping, I could not even have I couldn't even form one cohesive flipping thought, man. It was just me coming on here and shooting and rambling about mother flipping post time skip greatness. So my original purpose about this was to just compare them and see which one was better, but I ended up just fangasming over the fact that they were also GOAT. So yeah, man, whatever. If you disliked it, if you liked it, it is what it is, man. This is the way I do it. I can't help it. I can't help myself, man. It's the One Piece greatness, guys. Have an awesome day. Thank you so much for watching. This has been my top, or not mine, your guys' top 6 favorite post time skips arcs. I'll just end up like calling the video I don't know, flip. Best post time skip. I don't know what they're gonna call it. The Recon's Piece, episode 5. Hopefully, we'll have a Darth Vader picture in the thumbnail. Have an awesome day. Have an awesome day. Thank you so much for all of your comments. I look forward to the next poll. That should be taking place hopefully sometime soon, and we'll do it in the week after. And I cannot wait for this Thursday. Getting more Whole Cake Island awesome sauce. Shout out to Smoothie's legs, man. Shout out to Nami's new outfit, son.